Continuing with our news, the government is working during the current period to finalize the state ownership policy document. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli indicated the mechanisms included in the document will have a clear positive impact, represented in being a message of reassurance to local investors, as well as an element of attraction to foreign investment. Of course, all is part of the continuations of the governmental reforms that have been adopted by the Egyptian state. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest, Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, Professor of Economy, Cairo University. Dr. Mohamed, a very good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for joining us, Doctor. Could you tell us a bit about the state ownership policy document? What is it exactly, sir?
First of all, I would like to say good evening to you and our audience, and I would like to thank the program team for today's invitation.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
I would like to start with the famous quote for Earl Nightingale, American author. All you need is a plan, the map, and the courage to pass on to your destination. Actually, Egypt seeks to attract 40 billion investments from private sector. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi ordered the government to set program for the private sector participation in the state-owned assets with a target of 10 billion annually for 4 years. The Egyptian president also ordered the government to list army-owned enterprises on the Egyptian stock exchange before year end. Yes, and to start selling the state and some state-owned companies in the stock market. Actually, I would like to return back as far as I recall in 2019, Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said the military must be allowed to sell shares on the stock exchange alongside other state companies floated for privatization.
Yes.
The government for years has been talking about selling state companies not owned by the military, and as far as I recall, in 2018, it announced it would offer minority stakes in 2023 in a plan to raise up to 80 billion Egyptian pounds, which is around 4.3 something like that billion dollar. Also, Mr. President Sisi directed the government to list military-owned companies on the Egyptian exchange, EGX, as you know, and our audience.
Yes.
Period to the end of 2022. And this is also will be a key support, in my humble opinion, will be a key support to the Egyptian ambitious plan that aims to increase Egypt's exports to hit $100 billion per year, in parallel with another plan to set 100 incentives for the industrial sector to improve competitiveness of Egyptian products.
Yes. Dr. Mohamed, you mentioned a very important issue, a continuation of the government's reform program. Tell me, what is the importance and the role of the private sector in the Egyptian economy?
Actually, I would like to highlight that the Prime Minister has pointed out that the private sector participation in the state-owned assets, that maybe the role, to reply to your important question, actually, to double the role of this sector in development of the economy. Furthermore, they will help launch an initiative to support and localize national industries by strengthening the role of the private sector and expanding the base of large and medium-sized industries. As you know, and our audience know well, that SMEs, small and medium enterprises, are the main
drivers.
Yes, the main key to build a solid economy and diversified economy.
Yes.
And this is, I believe that this is one of the most important things that a lot of developed countries, they counted on it
Indeed.
Also, I would like to highlight that during the meeting of Prime Minister Madbouli pointed to the World Bank report on this, on the rise in the prices in the coming period, stressing that it is necessary to take this estimate in consideration to be ready for the challenges which contribute to success in facing the global crisis that affect all countries.
Yes, indeed.
This will be a crucial thing for that.
Indeed, Dr. Mohamed, which leads me to my next question. Egypt, the Egyptian economy was able to confront the repercussions of the coronavirus pandemic and the global stalemate. And now, could you tell us about some of the new challenges in light of the latest situation with the Russian-Ukrainian war?
Actually, I would like to highlight that Egypt is doing a great job, and we are on the right track on the economic part. Actually, as far as I recall, on the first quarter of the fiscal year, we achieved GDP growth. As far as I recall, it exceeded 9%, and this is the highest GDP growth since 10 years ago, and this means that the economic reform and the mega project that the presidential leadership is working on it, and the government actually has a significant impact on the economy. In addition to that, we have an ambitious plan that we will close this year with GDP growth will reach 6%, despite the fact of the COVID impact and Ukrainian and Russian war that negatively impact the globe, as you know, and our audience, that Russia and Ukraine, they are providing or exporting around 30% of the global wheat. And due to this war, actually, the prices of wheat increased. In addition to the oil part that they are providing to Europe and a lot of countries, a great portion of oil. And those things, the wheat and the oil, are the crucial things for any country to work and to facilitate things to its citizens.
Yes, indeed.
Despite all those facts, Egypt doing a great job in terms of economy, and we have a great contingency plan, especially on the wheat part, actually, as we have a store for like 8 months, as far as I recall. For that reason, we have a stable economy. And in my humble opinion, I believe that we will overcome this war and the financial impact of it the soonest.
Indeed. Right. I'd like to thank you very, very much. Our guest, Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, Professor of Economy, Cairo University. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your time and your insight on today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and we'll be right back. Do stay tuned for more.